It's the 3rd of September and I'm Tom Glass and welcome to The Roast. Tonight, the mining tax has been repealed, so that is some great news for miners.
I'm a miner.
A coal miner?
No, I'm a child. I'm 12.
You're a hard 12. But look, the school kids bonus is under threat as well. Yeah, but don't worry, your superannuation is going to be much lower now. Yeah, actually, I don't know why I thought that would be reassuring. Tell you what, give me the opening titles to come up with something nice to say. It's going to be fine. Low-income earners are going to have their super co-contributions cut as well, so... No, well, the mining tax has been repealed and a superannuation rise is delayed. As a barely employed itinerant labourer, I need to work out my finances. First though, Mark Humphries has the headlines. Finances are looking bad.
Jackie Lambie, the Palmer United senator who puts the mania in Tasmania, has taken part in the Ice Bucket Challenge. Well, I promised myself I wouldn't watch any more Ice Bucket Challenge videos, and I won't, but you can watch it. Did you get all wet? Yeah, I thought so. Good on you, Jackie. I nominate you for another challenge. It's the Make It Through 6 years of being a senator without completely stuffing up challenge. Clive Palmer was also there to witness the challenge, but he walked out shortly before the live broadcast when he noticed a second ice bucket he thought might be intended for himself.
He flew into a rage, tipped the bucket out, slightly wetting a producer, then uttered a few words unsuitable for broadcast and stormed off.
Words unsuitable for broadcast? That doesn't sound like our Clive.
The Chinese bastards, these Chinese mongrels. Wendy Dung is a Chinese spy.
Coles, the supermarket that would kill Woolworths with its own giant red hands if it had the chance, is reportedly cutting 600 jobs. I'll tell you what's down. Employee morale. Coles will reportedly make the redundancies as part of a bid to free up funds to help reduce food and liquor prices. So, to anyone forced to leave their job at Coles, I know a cheap place you can go to drown your sorrows. Coles! The Great Barrier Reef, the place God created on the 6th day when he took hallucinogens, may no longer be considered as a dumping ground for dredge spoil, as the government considers a new dredging proposal. So it's a good day for this guy. Under the new proposal, the dredge spoil would be dumped on land. So it's bad news for this guy.
Here come those tears again.
It's still not a done deal, though. Environment Minister Greg Hunt, seen here shooting the cover of his album Hunting for Love, says the government is still considering the new option.
There is an emerging option which I have said we would welcome and we would consider on its merits against the law, and there is a very real chance that this might come forward.
A very real chance. Sorry, bud.
What have I become?
And finally, Palmer United Senator Glenn Lazarus has delivered his maiden speech to Parliament. There was some inspiring stuff.
And if you work hard, you can achieve anything.
And if we know anything about the Palmer United Party, it's that they work hard. When asked how he thought he did in his first speech in Parliament, the former NRL great said he gave it 110% and his boys left it all out there on the field, and at the end of the day, they were beaten by the better speech. For The Roast, I'm Mark Humphries.
Thank you, Mark. And officials have confirmed there was no need to test Glenn Lazarus for performance-enhancing drugs after the speech because it was obvious he had not taken any. And staying in the House where the carpet matches the seats, the Senate yesterday voted to abolish the mining tax after the government got the Palmer United Party on side by agreeing to delay the abolition of the school kids bonus and defer increases to superannuation. So here is hoping that those kids invest their bonus wisely, because we're all going to need them to fund our retirement in a few years' time. The crossbenchers celebrated saving the school kids bonus, and Ricky Muir was so excited he actually called his wife to tell her the good news. And actually that reminds me, I should call my wife and tell her as well. Sorry, just 1 second. Hi, honey. Yep, tell the kids to stop painting those tissue boxes black. They are getting real school shoes this term. Yeah, the school kids bonus is sticking around. Well, actually just until December 2016, but at least we can afford better shoe paint for a while. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye. Of course, yesterday everyone was relieved to see Joe Hockey relaxed for once and not sweating through his 4th suit of the day. Not as relaxed, though, as Peter Dutton. If it's true you dress for the job you want, I'm guessing Dutton wants to be king of his blankie fort. Honestly, the House of Representatives is not a place for your Jim Jams, Dutton. Nor, some would argue, is it a place for a mining magnate to be allowed to vote down a tax on mining. But don't worry, Clive Palmer explained why that was not in any way a conflict of interest.
We don't see it that way. First of all, I don't pay the mining tax, you know. BHP doesn't pay the mining tax. Rio Tinto don't pay the mining tax.
He doesn't pay the tax? What kind of a moron in the Labor Party wrote a mining tax where the biggest mining companies don't pay it?
It was actually devised by 3 of the major mining companies.
Oh, good. Any other massive corporations want in on rewriting government policy? Oh, you already are. Oh, that's terrific. So with the mining tax gone, the overall compromise adds $10 billion to the budget bottom line over the next 4 years. Or in layman's terms, what? Jazz Twemlow joins me now. Jazz, can you explain how cutting a tax saves the government money?
Well, by scrapping the mining tax and not having that money, the government now can't spend it on child people and grubby leaners. Hypothetical non-money saved. Ka-ching, hypothetically.
Right, so it's actually just a case of the government saying that not spending money because you don't have any is a form of saving.
Yes, and by that logic, homeless people are saving hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Think about it. If you weren't homeless, you could suffer the financial burden of being Brad Pitt, earning shitloads of cash and then being forced to funnel that money into things like fancy weddings and your giant loving family. By not being Brad Pitt, each of us is avoiding a huge amount of spending. And for that, we should be thankful?
I don't know, should we?
He does seem to enjoy being him, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly looks that way.
Can I be Brad Pitt?
Have you ever tried to convince yourself that not having money is better than having it? Is it because you have a cash allergy and you go into anaphylactic shock whenever you pay for things? Or do you just hate looking at Banjo Patterson's stupid face on your $10 notes? We'd love to hear about it. At The Roast TV or hashtag RoastTV.
Now, I know you are probably bored with talking about taxes, so let's get into the sexy stuff. Superannuation. Yes, super. That thing you don't think about now, but will eventually determine how many prunes you can afford when you reach the age where you must start buying prunes, was also affected by the axing of the mining tax. The increase of super contributions by employers from 9.5% of wages to 12% of wages will now be delayed until the year 2025, or roughly the year you realise you haven't saved for your retirement and will spend the rest of your life eating complimentary sachets of sugar and reusing Glad Wrap. So, any good news?
And we know, as a statistical fact, that over 50% of Australians will be dead by the time they get access to their super.
So half of us are sacrificing our salaries each week for money that we'll be too dead to spend. Of course, this was Clive Palmer speaking, so by a statistical fact, he could of course have meant a thing I thought up in my head just now. And I gotta say, I'm sorry, I'm just not getting it. How will this change to super ensure that we can still have a good retirement?
It will leave Australian workers with more money pre-retirement, which they can spend on saving for their retirement.
So why would the government want wages to rise but not super?
Wage increases will be taxed at standard rates, rather than lightly taxed, as would have been extra super.
Then why don't we just tax super properly? You know, then we wouldn't need to block an increase because it would match current tax rates.
Because then wealthy people would have to stop using it as some sort of government-sponsored tax haven for prune money.
Right, well, I hope the wealthy appreciate it, because the Chief Executive of Industry Super Australia says that the changes will mean a 25-year-old on average earnings over their working life could retire with $100,000 less, and that is a lot of prune money.
Oh, big whoop, Tom. If you're anything like me, you'll plan to die at 27, like Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison and Jimmy Joplin. I don't need to worry about my future self. Yeah, you do, younger, equally handsome me. I need that 100K. I have 7 kids whose love I need to continually buy. Not anymore. Okay, though in future I'd appreciate some warning before you murder my offspring.
Yeah, come on, present day, Nick. Maybe just put a bit of money into super.
Oh, fine, I'll try. Hey, look at me. Yeah, okay. Moving on up. Hey, yeah, this feels good. There's almost $17 in here. In fact, no, I remember what I do with that money. Tom, I've saved long enough. Time to reward myself for all my hard saving with 17 coffees from 7-Eleven. Shit.
Yeah, poor future Nick. Well, although he doesn't have much money in super now, he will be working until he's 70, so he'll have a lot more time to save it and a lot less time to spend it. That being said, I'm wondering how future Tom's going, because I've been saving too. All right, Tommy, show yourself. Future Tom? Sorry, my arm's a bit tingly. And who's burning that toast? Oh, God. Oh, no, Clive Palmer was right. I'm the 50%.
122 coffees from 7-Eleven. Good night.
never got to taste my precious prunes.